years. Comedian Al Murray is once again, well, we say hitting the road. He's about to say goodbye to his latest tour, Gig for Victory.
And he's also released a new book about World War II called Command, How the Allies Learned to Win the Second World War.
Which has got all your notes inside it and all your questions for Al.
Al joins us now.
Morning.
Morning. Well, it's an appropriate time to do it, isn't it? Because we have Remembrance Sunday coming up.
Yeah.
And you've done this remarkable book which looks at the Second World War, which I think we all think we know inside out. It looks at it through individual characters.
Yes, I wasn't much interested in writing about battles. I didn't think that would be the way to go. And the Second World War it's all about people. It's all about what people did and what they had to resort to win. And of course, the Allies get off to this terrible start and are still losing. At least halfway through, things are going terribly wrong, and they figure out how to fix it. And it's an amazing story, and it's down to people and circumstances and stuff, and that's what I wanted to write, because it's a thrilling story, actually.
It's about people. It's also about kind of facts and truth. And in the podcast, we have ways of making you talk. Also in the book, you clearly care about, you know, the facts and getting it right. And I just wondered whether, you know, we're at a stage now where there are very few people who are alive who remember the Second World War. We have the debate about The Crown. Is it accurate? You have films like Kingsman, which are all sort of history, but it's really kind of mythology.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important for you that we remember the truth about the Second World War rather than simply the Hollywoodization of it?
Oh, Ed, I mean, what you've done there is landed the heaviest question possible on me. I mean, I'm interested in it. Other people aren't, you know, and you can lead a horse to water in terms of the subject of the Second World War. You can't necessarily make them drink from what I regard as the truth. But the interesting thing is, of course, is the perspectives that an event like that offer. You know, the Chinese perspective of the Second World War is a thing I don't think we ever consider, or the Russian one, which of course is featuring largely in global politics at the moment. And another way of looking at it, different to the way we look at it. So yeah, I mean
history sometimes gets rewritten.
Well, of course.
The witnesses have died.
Well, it essentially gets rewritten. It's always being rewritten. And I think one of the interesting things about the war being as long ago as it is now is you can maybe be a bit more dispassionate about things. I mean, my grandfather, his battalion that he fought in was destroyed outside Dunkirk in May of 1914. He was killed in a town called Hazebrouck. And it took 60 years, basically, for the officers to have passed away, for the people below them to be able to say what really happened. Because people's reputations mattered and people's honour needed to be kept intact and all that sort of stuff. And what then happens is that once arguably the dust has settled, you can start to actually look at what appears to have happened. But the other thing is we'll never know. You know, the
reason I care about this is I'm chair of the Holocaust Foundation.
Yeah.
We're building the memorial next to Parliament, and the story of the Holocaust is always being rewritten by the Holocaust deniers. And the last survivors are now very old. It's just really important that you don't allow people who want to distort history to get control, and that's why the facts are important.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Although, I mean, in the case of Holocaust denial, I mean, they have to make stuff up because the truth is undeniable. So, I mean, you know, I mean, this is a massive question when it comes to history, and people often don't like what they find, so they look away from it.
And sometimes events are nuanced, aren't they? I mean, you address Dunkirk, which, of course, we sort of see as this incredible rallying effort, the little ships going out to transport our brave soldiers.
Yeah.
But of course, Dunkirk was a great retreat.
Well, it's as colossal a military disaster as you could ever possibly entertain happening. If you're the British Army, everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. And my grandfather, like I said, my grandfather was caught up in that, didn't come back from it. So I have a view that says we have to see this as you know, there's only a miracle because there's a disaster.
But sometimes you have to snatch those little victories from the jaws of potential defeat.
Yeah.
You have to tell these stories in a certain way when a war is going on.
Well, that's very true. And again, we're seeing that right now, that you need to offer hope. If the Churchill government had said, well, actually, this is a complete disaster and everything's gone wrong, they may have capitulated. So,
of course, he was actually dealing with an invasion on the south coast.
Well, you know, there's another. There's a
whole other discussion.
I mean, honestly, I mean, we
Volume 2.
Yeah, well, maybe Volume 2, but that's a really hot question because
something the pub landlord might address.
Well, the pub landlord would have a lot to say about all of this.
Yes. You are the pub landlord tonight, or
tomorrow? I'm in Liverpool.
Tomorrow.
I'm in Warrington on Thursday, Aylesbury on Friday, and then we finish the tour in Dublin on Sunday, which is very exciting.
And Command: How the Allies Learned to Win the Second World War without my notes.
Al Murray, great to see you.
It's
Good
always
morning,
a pleasure.
Britain. Back tomorrow from 6. Here's Lorraine.
Thank you both very much. After the break, well, as speculation grows,